All right, so it's morning number one. I slept okay last night. I'm used to a too soft mattress, so my ribs are pretty sore right now. I thought the ground was pretty soft, and I have my little sleeping pad, which is kind of like a thick yoga mat. But I would sleep on my back till my ribs hurt too much, and then move to one side till it hurt too much, and then move to the other side till it hurt too much. But every time I was able to fall back asleep right away, so that was good. I was quite warm in my sleeping bag. I went to sleep with a hoodie on, ended up having to take it off. So it was quite warm in the sleeping bag. Fajita only needed one blanket. Anyway, tonight the priorities are, or not tonight, today, the priorities are shelter and fire. So I want to find a different spot close to here. I got too much stuff and too old of dog to move very far. But right here is so open, we're just gonna get fried by the sun. So I'd like to find a spot with more shade, more cover, and then build a softer bed. And then the second priority will be fire. The fire's gone out since last night. As far as friction fire goes, I've found only pine and oak. Neither of those will do me any good for like a bow drill. Maybe I can identify some cedar, but even then, if I couldn't get the bow drill going with my yucca and cottonwood set, I don't know how much luck I'm gonna have with cedar. I do have a pair of glasses with me, so when the sun gets straight up, I might just go with that today, try to use the lenses to light a fire that way. Okay, so let's get going. All right, so I came across this. We've got a fallen tree that's already set up for a good A-frame. The ground below is fairly flat. I got good tree cover here. I got a lot of fallen material on the ground. This thing isn't so strong, but I think it's gonna hold. If it does fall, it's probably not big enough to kill me. So yeah, I'll get to work, see what we can do with this thing. I decided to come down to the creek and see if I can find some mud and mud up. The bugs are pretty annoying, and other than sweating in my long sleeve clothing, mud will be the only protection I have. But anyway, even if I don't, I'll show you my bathtub from last night. Oh, there it is right there, I believe. Let's get a better look. Pretty steep getting down here. There we go. So yeah, there's the bathtub. It's quite nice. All right, now let's see if I can find some mud. So, as you can see, I found some mud. Hopefully that'll make a big difference with the bugs and some protection from the sun as well. All right, back to shelter building. So I've taken a break from the shelter building. Pretty tired. I could use some breakfast. So I'm hoping the sun's high enough now that I can get a fire going with the lenses. I got a few different types of tinder. I'm not sure which will work best, so we're gonna give it a go and see if we can get this fire. I got bad news. There's some kind of special coating on these glasses. It appears the light is not even passing through the lenses. It looks like I'm holding sunglasses. One thing I've already learned is when you're out here, nothing is as easy as you think or you hope that it will be. Feels like Murphy's Law. The answer to which of these tinders works the best appears to be none of the above. All right, there we go. We got fire. I started to take a break, regroup, try to think. And as I was walking away, I just noticed a tiny bit of smoke coming up. So I put just little pieces of tinder right where the smoke was, blew on it. Eventually it caught flame. Now we got fire. Now we can eat breakfast, get some energy, then get back to work on the shelter. All right, so let's take a look at the final menu, or what I brought for food. So I got my 2 survival meals, biscuits and gravy with sausage. That's what I'll be eating now. And beef stew. I have some all-purpose seasoning. It's got salt, pepper, garlic, oregano, all-purpose Greek seasoning. 1 container should be good. I got chorizo, which I kind of messed up because I wanted to get some like, what do you call it, cured meat, like some kind of salami that would last. But this has to be cooked. So what I want to do is smoke it so that it'll last me the whole time here. So I got to figure something out to how to get this smoked. We got a bag of rice. We got a bag of pinto beans. These are raw. I've never tried to cook these before. I'm guessing they take forever. We'll see. And don't ask me why I have this, but I also have some Sweet Tarts ropes, which are really good if you haven't had them. Kind of a long story why I have them, but I had them, so I figured might as well bring them. Get some sugar. All right, and that's it. Okay, so I got to do something about this fire because I don't know if I'm going to be able to wake up often enough to keep it going throughout the night every night. So if it does go out tonight or whatever night, I want to make some char cloth so that I'll be able to get it going again. So I've never done this before, but I have a tin here, an old t-shirt that I don't care about. The way I understand it, you put some 100% cotton material in the tin, which this is, seal it, poke a hole, and put it on the fire, and you should see smoke coming out of the hole. And then when the smoke stops coming out of the hole, you're done, and you should have some char cloth, which will be able to take a spark easier than any tinder I've been able to find so far. Okay. I'm just gonna cut one of the sleeves off, I think. Actually, I'm gonna put this down so I have some kind of cutting area. Not easy to do just holding it. Knife seems to be nice and sharp, so that's good. All right, there we go. This tin had a ferrous rod, which I ordered from Amazon probably. And of course it ended up being totally unnecessary because my knife came with a ferrous rod, my shovel came with a ferrous rod. I've got so many ferrous rods, can't even count. Okay, I do have a little poker in my bathroom kit, like a little needlepoint thing. I'm not sure if that'll be strong enough though, so I'll just use a knife. That go all the way through? Yep, that was easy enough. Okay, let's put this on the fire and see if we get some smoke coming out. I don't think it needs to be on the open flame, it just needs to be hot. Okay, there it is. You can see the smoke coming out of the hole. At least I hope you can. It's always impossible to tell with this head mount where the camera is actually aimed. The tin's turning black. That's fine as long as it doesn't start melting. But I'm just gonna sit here and watch it, and once the smoke stops coming out of the hole, I'll use a stick to get it away from the heat, let it sit and cool down, and then I'll come back and check and see if we have char cloth. All right, so I finished breakfast. The biscuits and gravy were delicious, really hit the spot. I've noticed with those dehydrated meals, they don't quite rehydrate. Like the biscuits were basically like crouton size. They were cut into pieces and the inside is a bit crunchy, but they're really on point with the flavor. So it was really good. But anyway, I just been working on the smoker here for the chorizo. And for a minute I just thought, oh, maybe I'll just cook all the chorizo, because even if I smoke it, I don't have a place to put it. But since I finished the biscuits and gravy, I could just put it in that sealed bag. So I found 3 poles to make a tripod. I tied them up at the top with a piece of paracord. And then luckily the poles had some, I don't know what you call them, nodules sticking out. And I was just able to balance a bunch of sticks on those nodules and make a rack. If you're wondering why Fajita hasn't been in any of the videos today, she's right here. She's been in the tent the entire day. I think it's about noon. I really thought she'd like it out here, but she doesn't seem to. I'm down to 8% battery, so I might not be able to film too much more today. I'll have to remember to charge the GoPro every night, but I'm just gonna put the chorizo on now and get it smoking. It's all dry wood, so hopefully the whole tripod doesn't burst into flame. I'll try to keep the flames low. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I got the chorizo on there, and I can already tell you chorizo was a big mistake. It basically came out like liquid. I was barely able to get it on there. I'm kind of surprised. One piece already fell through, so I'm not sure if it's actually gonna cook and smoke or if it's just gonna like melt through. It looks like another piece is about to go. Later. Jeez, what a joke. We'll see what happens to the rest of it. Anyway, the char cloth tin is cooled, so I want to open this bad boy up, see if we got char cloth inside. Well, we got some. Maybe I put too big a piece in there. Well, why don't we just turn it around and put it back on the heat. Hopefully turn the rest of it into some good char cloth. Now the chorizo doesn't look like it's getting much smoke. I wish I had something to block the wind and also to keep the smoke in, but the best I can find around here is maybe some pine boughs, but I really don't think that's gonna do it. I might try it, but kind of don't think it's gonna be worth it. Hopefully the wind will just take a few breaks, enough for the smoke to just rise straight up. We'll see. Okay, so the chorizo and the smoker were a complete disaster. Another whole piece of chorizo just melted through. You can see this is all I got left. I didn't realize chorizo was a liquid food. I thought it was a solid food. So stupid. I wanted some type of meat that didn't have to be refrigerated, just to go with the rice and beans. And I was looking for like a salami, and I just saw chorizo and thought, oh, that'll do, and put it in the basket. Didn't even realize it wasn't pre-cooked. Anyway, I'm gonna cook it up, and then at least what's left of it, and then me and Fajita will just share it, and that'll be gone. So I've been gathering pine needles for several hours now, feels like. And I've made some okay progress, but not as much as I would like. Oops. Now, I had these two poles that were just kind of on the ground when I found this place, but in hindsight I think I should have moved them closer together. I mean, they're nice because they hold the pine needles together, but it really is taking forever to gather them, and I don't quite need it this wide, so I wish I would have made it narrower, but I think it's too late now. I'm just gonna make it long enough where I can lay down, and then I'll probably add another couple boughs back here because it's a little bit lower. And then, even then, it still won't be enough. If this was all I had, I'd want, geez, probably 3 times as many. But it's just taking so long to gather them, so much work, getting really tired. That I think I'm just gonna do basically 1 layer plus a little bit extra on the back, like I said, and then I'll put down my yoga mat, and I have a big thick blanket that I brought for Fajita, but it was warm enough. She won't need it. She didn't use it last night, and I'll call that good. And then my sleeping bag on top of that. I don't mind that I'm gonna be using the stuff I brought. I'm trying to challenge myself, but I also want to enjoy myself, so I don't mind using my sleeping bag and all that. Anyway, a few more hours worth of work and then we'll be able to put the sides on. I got some charge into the GoPro, so filming today won't be an issue. All right, as you can see, we've got plenty of length. Put my yoga mat down. So the pine needles, the pine boughs, or I should say the bed of pine boughs is like a foot longer than the yoga mat. This is way too wide, way more than I needed. And as you can see, I added another couple logs at the back and at the front to kind of keep the pine boughs from spilling out that way. Now I'm going to go ahead and start adding the roof. I've officially run out of water, which sucks because I only have a small kettle and a small pot to boil the water, and then once I boil it, I don't really have a place to put it except in my water bottle. So basically water is going to be super labor intensive from here on out, and that shelter is also very labor intensive, so that's not good. If there is any good news, it's that the water from the creek is crystal clear, as you can see there. The jug's not full because I've already started boiling it. Anyway, back to work. So I've just been taking some time around camp, organizing. That's the problem with bringing too much stuff. You spend so much time packing, unpacking, repacking, organizing, trying to stay organized, but always getting disorganized. Issue with the water. I boiled it just hours ago and I couldn't drink it. It just stayed hot. It just would not cool down. So while I've spent this time organizing, I took my full bottle of water down to the creek and put it in the creek. So that's what I'm about to do now. go down there and hopefully it's cool and I could get a nice big drink now. It's 4:30 now. I think I'm mostly gonna take it easy for the rest of the day. Here we go. Oh. Oh, whatever. Okay. Please be cold. Please be cold. Oh my God. It's boiling hot. Oh my God. We are fucked. I'm so fucked. The water's been in the river for more than an hour and it's still boiling hot. I boiled this hours ago. I can't even drink it. It's burning my tongue. Oh my God, why? What is happening? I don't know what to do. I'm gonna put this back in the water. The creek is very cold. I took a bath in it last night. I know how cold it is. Ooh, I got a nice bathtub right here. Maybe I'll come here for tonight's bath. Ants all over down here. But I have no idea what to do. I need to sit down and have a think. But right now I can't drink water. I'm totally screwed if I can't drink water. What the heck can I do? I'm just having some water from the kettle, which has finally cooled down after about 3 hours. So I was thinking about it on the walk back up here. If the problem is that water bottle I have is super well insulated. What I need to do before next time is buy, I don't know if I want something as big as a jerry can, but some container where I could boil the water in the container and then just put the entire container in the creek to cool back down. It's got to be uninsulated so that it actually cools. But anyway, I can't do that this time. That'll be for next time. So this time, what I can do, I left the water bottle in the river. Even as well insulated as it is, I'm sure if I leave it in there overnight, it'll be drinkable tomorrow. It might still be warm, but it should at least be drinkable. So I'll have 1 liter of water per day. So I can go pick it up in the morning, and that'll be my water for the entire day. And then tomorrow night, fill it back up, put it back in the creek, let it cool down overnight. I need a lot more than 1 liter per day. So I have the kettle as a backup. It takes about 3 or 4 hours, the entire process. So 1 water bottle system plus the kettle might be all right. Okay, so what I have here is a figure 4 deadfall. The way it works, you have a trigger stick and then 2 other sticks just to kind of make the figure 4, and you just cut notches into each one in a certain way so it all kind of balances together. And then there's 2 pieces, the pole or the main support and the trigger stick, that are just kind of being held together by a little notch. Well, I'm not sure how exactly now, but you'll see when I get it set up. But anyway, I just put some coagulated chorizo juice for bait, and I got a little piece of a dog treat, but it's very crumbly. I'm just gonna have to balance it on there. Hopefully when they go for the chorizo, it'll be enough pressure to trigger it. But okay, let's try to get this set up. Now, I didn't make this figure 4. I wish I had. It was given to me, which I appreciate very much. Okay, I'm not gonna set it to show you because I don't have enough patience, but prey comes, messes around with that trigger stick, the whole thing falls, rock smashes him, boom. Here's a better look at the figure 4. So the 45-degree angle stick, it's got a notch to connect it to the base column or the support column, and then you can see the trigger stick has a notch to connect to the 45-degree angle piece. And then I don't know if you can tell, but the base of the support column is squared off. And then you have a notch in the trigger stick that's just resting against the squared off part of the support column. So any kind of force that jostles that loose, and then the whole thing comes crashing down. I have a piece of 550 cord here, and the reason it's called 550 cord is because it has 550-pound breaking strength. There's 7 fibers inside the outer casing, and I believe each one of these has a breaking strength of 50 pounds times 7 for a total of 350, and then the casing itself 200 pounds. So what I'm gonna do now is just pull the individual strings out, and I'm going to use one of these on my Paiute deadfall, and the rest I'll use for just simple snares. Okay. Alright, I'm attempting to set up the Paiute deadfall. There's the trigger stick. I'm using a piece of the sweet tart rope as bait, and then you have a support column, and just like the figure 4, you have this 45-degree angle piece, or maybe not quite 45, and that's tied to a rope or a string that comes around like that, and then the trigger stick balances that, and it's not easy to set. This rock is pretty massive compared to the trap. The little piece of wood wraps around and it should just hold it. And then you want to put the trigger stick in a way to hold that little wooden piece. There we go. I wish I had a bigger Paiute deadfall. It sinks into the ground, so I got a pretty low angle there. I wish the rock was up a bit higher, but that'll have to do. Okay. So you have the support column stuck in the ground. You have that stick, which is not, it looks like it's on the ground, but it's not. Okay, and then that's tied to a string which wraps around the main support column, and there's a little stick that kind of holds the whole thing together, and then that trigger stick just kind of presses up against the that little stick to kind of hold it in place. And when that trigger stick gets jostled, the whole thing comes down. All right, the last thing I'm gonna do today, other than take a bath and go to bed, is set some simple snares. Now, I forgot to YouTube how to do this, if there's a certain knot you're supposed to use, but I think as long as you use a slip knot that slips, I think you're good. So my plan is to just take one end of the string, put a bite in it, and then use a simple overhand knot. I'll probably have to do a couple because, like I said, the string I'm discovering is really bad for knots. But the idea here is you find a place where you think an animal is going to run by. I'm hoping for a rabbit. And you just kind of prop up a noose using a slip knot, and you anchor the other end. So very simple, the animal runs through the noose, gets its neck caught, the noose tightens, and the animal's trapped. So I think as long as you have a fixed loop and you use that for your slip knot's gonna slip. So there's my noose. So now I just need to go find a place where I think a rabbit's gonna run by, prop up the noose, anchor it down, and that's it. Okay, so I found this burrow here. I don't know what made it. Hopefully something delicious. Anyway, you can see my noose there, propped up by a couple of sticks. And then, oh, there it is. Hard to see on the little viewfinder. But I took my knife, carved a stake, just sharpened the end of a stick, hammered it in pretty deep, tied about 4 or 5 clove hitches around it because, like I said, these strings aren't good. The knots keep coming loose. So that's it. We'll check it in the morning. That's about all I'm gonna do for today. So I'm gonna put the GoPro away, rest a little bit, go take a bath, So signing off for day one.